So I caught a live stream from a YouTuber, Jade the Black. Now, I didn't catch the whole live stream or anything like that. I just caught, probably mostly the end when they were, uh, had open phone lines. So I didn't actually get to see the video that he made. But what I saw in the comments, and this is like one of those groups of people, they have the red pill movement. And from what I understand about the red pill movement, is basically these are men, they call themselves alpha males, and they don't take no stuff from women. And what I noticed was most of the men in the comments, or a lot of men in the comments, were talking about how basically all black women were toxic, black women hate, women, all women, and all women hate women, and so on and so forth. And it was just like really sad to see, the amount of black men who think all black women are toxic and negative, and we're all hard on black men, and so they basically deal with and date anything but black women, and they themselves are black. So I made one comment in the whole thing saying, I feel so, I'm sorry for all the black men who have only dealt with toxic black women, because, I grew up around a lot of black people. I have great examples of good black men. I have great examples of great black women. I pretty much grew up in a city where I went to what was, and I believe what still is, the one and only black Catholic church in that city. And it was very profound and powerful because I came across like so many, good black men and women of different, backgrounds. I had politicians, I had community activists, regular people that were community activists in their own rights. They were the matriarchs of their family, and they loved everybody. It was just, it was just a lot of love. And so I was just like, man, I feel, sad for these people, not even just black men, but just black people in general that only see black people as negative. And so I was thinking, like, for me, anytime somebody would say or try to stick up for, black women having value, and I already know that black women are at the bottom of the totem pole, which is why I was creating the website. Hold on. Okay, so I had to pause for a moment because I have this firefly or some kind of bug that is insisting on interacting with me, even still right now. It's still playing with me, but I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish recording. I'm gonna let this firefly, play with me, chill out. I have a friend that I call her Firefly because she's full of fire, and so I'm just gonna let this firefly do what it do. It's chilling on my leg right now. And first it was like in my hair, on my face, now it's on my leg, but much love to you, Firefly. Okay, so like I was saying, so we have these men and women, I'm not even just going to say it's the men, that have just a negative point of view and perspective of black women and maybe even black men as well. And I was like, wow, this is just I felt like there was a lot of anger, a lot of tension. And for any time somebody tried to stand up against the comment of maybe all black women being toxic, there was always multiple, black men that would very rudely and very degradingly state how wrong that statement or thought is. And then I have an experience that's opposite of that, and I'm just like, there's nothing that I can do or say to convince these other people that believe that we're all negative of anything different than that. That is their belief. And so, but I know that, we are all God. I know that because we are all God, whatever we truly believe, the universe is going to back that up and give you evidence that your belief is real, because that's how energy works. So if your belief is that all black women are negative, all black men are dogs, then the universe and energy is going to always give you something to back that up. It's going to always give you those experiences because that's what you believe, and because you are a God, you bring that in, you bring those experiences into your life. And it's just, it's a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. And so it was upsetting. I was flabbergasted by a lot of the stuff. And, I can see how people can get angry and mad, and how there can be all this tension, and how dare, black men be so, vile, because they were really vile, y'all. I mean, they was like vile. There was gaslighting and everything. I was like, this is just ridiculous. Whatever I can think of that was negative, which never really gets super negative. And so, how I like to do. Anybody who know me, I'm going to always flip the script, period. So I'm like, there is a serious divide. You have these people that think all black people are negative, and then you have a person like me that know there's so many good black men and women out here. And you have a group that's totally blind to that. And so I flipped that around. I'm like, okay, well, where is it in my life that I seriously believe something, and I mean something that is not working to my benefit? Like, I have a lot of tension in this particular area. I have a lot of failure in this particular area. I think it's just so bad, and there's nothing good about it, and this, that, and the other, right? So it's like, okay, I feel them, like, okay. And since I'm able to point out in that situation how it's not true what they say, and the beliefs that they have are not true, it was really powerful to me. So I said, okay, well, where is it in my life that I feel like is really upsetting? This particular thing is really negative, and maybe there's someone else on the planet who is just like, well, I see how it works for me. I see how it works in my benefit. And the things that you think, the negative thoughts that you have about it, that's all it is. It's just your negative thoughts, because it actually works, in a lot of people's benefit in different ways. And so I thought about that. And I used the negativity that came from that live, and the negativity of those men, and negativity of, some of the women, and was like, well, where do I think like that? It's just negative. There's nothing good about this. And it made me do some self-research, which is one thing that I definitely love to do, because I know if I have negative thought patterns in my mind, I'm going to come across other situations that are negative and showing negative thought patterns, which is probably how I ended up on that live in the first place. Because it's in my energy field. And that's also one thing that I always tell anybody that I'm dealing with, anybody that I'm working with. If somebody is asking me for advice and I kind of go in, I always make sure that I end that conversation, or somewhere in the middle of that conversation, I make them understand straight up. It may sound like I'm getting onto you, but I know for a fact that every time I'm teaching you something or saying something to you, and it seems harsh or rough and tough, rough and stuff with my afro puffs and like that, is because I'm teaching me while I'm teaching you. which is one of the reasons that I get so passionate about it, is because things that I'm telling you, as I'm telling you, it's revealing to me where I have that same feeling within me on a different topic. So I always tell them, don't you ever think that I'm getting on you. Because if I'm getting on anybody, I'm getting on us. You know, we all learning at the same time. I have the knowledge, but I attracted you, manifested you in my life so that we can have this conversation, so things can be revealed, not just to you, but to myself. So I always thank them for the opportunity, for being able to speak with them, to help them. Or even if I'm not helping them, sometimes people get that information and they don't do anything with it anyway. They just agree with me and they say, yeah, that's right, and so on and so forth, but they don't make any changes. That's not my issue. The issue is that we came together to have that conversation so that I can see the things in my life that I needed to change. And I always thank the person on the other end for being a part of the experience, because it's always of benefit and of help to me. So I definitely appreciate, the negativity of the men that was on that site, reminding us black women that we are at the bottom of the totem pole, which is why I'm getting together my website for Single Black Mothers Depressed, so hopefully soon you'll be joining me at the bottom of the totem pole at Single Black Mothers Depressed. But until then, I hope that some of these videos and audios that I'm putting out can be of help too. And one thing that I just want to remind you, that if you're ever in a situation, no matter who you are, where you can say all black people, all black women, or all this or all that is all negative, there's nothing good about this, and because every time you've dealt with this particular type of situation, it's always gone bad. Don't ever forget that it is you that is the common denominator. You are the one that attracts these situations. And you cannot say, well, because all black women are bad, I'm going to deal with and date with anything but black women, because that's how the red pill movement was created, in my opinion. They went ahead and decided, well, I'm just going to start dealing with, everybody else. But the thing about it is, they didn't change themselves. They just changed who it is they're going to they just changed who they were going to deal with, but they didn't change themselves. So they go into these other relationships with these other races. Nothing wrong with that. And now they getting red pilled. Every time I see, a thumbnail about, watch out for this and don't give this person no attention, it's always like mixed or biracial women. So, but the red pill is not about not falling prey to these women, be them black or be they any other race. The true red pill is understanding that it is you that did not heal. You have a traumatic experience that you haven't healed from, and because you haven't healed from it, you taking it to these other people, thinking because you stopped dealing with black people and started dealing with everybody else, that's solving the problem. But you didn't solve anything. You didn't solve what is within you. And until you turn around and face inwards, you're going to keep on taking living that life of what they call the red pill. No, the real red pill is understanding that you're the common denominator. The real red pill is understanding that you have something broken within yourself that's causing you to get the realization that all women, no matter the race, are bad. Okay? It's us. Stop pointing outward. Look within for the true red pill.